All right, we are streaming live on YouTube. It is good to see you folks today. I've got a few things going on. I just had a meeting that was supposed to go like 9 to 9:30, and instead went 9 till after 10 o'clock. And as flattering as that is, I do recognize that I'm a little late getting to you guys this morning. So here we are. It is the Mañana morning check-in. It is July 20th, 2020. And like I said, I realize I'm about a half hour late getting this done today. But when you have a meeting that's going as good as that meeting was going, you don't turn off the phone, right? Anyone that's in sales will tell you when things are going good like that, you gotta maximize that, know when you're wearing out your welcome, and then separate there, right? And based on some of the communication tools that I've gotten, based on some of the training that I offer through the Mañana Academy, I can tell you that I just met someone that we're going to end up doing some business with, which is a really great feeling. It's awesome when you get done with a conversation, you're like, I just made a new friend, right? I just added value to somebody, they added value to me, and I just made a new friend. And that's awesome, right? So I always say, find out who you can add value to. Find out who you can add value to, right? No one knows, no one cares what you know until they know that you care, right? That kind of thing. But it's doubly awesome when it goes both ways. And in this particular situation, I think things went both ways. So I'm really thrilled about that. Next, I kicked it today. Kicked it yesterday, kicked it the day before. Got up this morning, went for a couple-mile walk with my daughter. That was a good time. Yesterday, I did a 21-mile recovery ride with a friend from church. My first time riding with Chris. Chris did great. He has a, why can't I remember the name of the bike now? That's going to bother me. It was right on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, he's got a nice carbon bike. And it was like for the way it came out of the store, right? So it still had the original pedals on it, still had reflectors on the spokes, things like that. But he did great. He's had the bike for years. He's just, he's not a bicyclist. He runs, does baseball, things like that. And I took him out on my 21-mile recovery ride. It's about 1,300 feet of climb or so. And he did great, had a great time. It was so awesome to have a new person to go and spend time with and talk and converse and get the workout in, right? I have a 20-mile loop. It's a kind of a conditioning loop that I do around town here in Southern California. And, when I do it by myself, I end up like arguing with myself, or I end up like trying to, I'm going to PR this, I'm going to kill this hill. I'm going to, I'm going to get to 50 miles an hour today, right? All these weird things, like these weird mind games you play with yourself. But when you have someone new to go bicycling with, it's not about trying to kill them, right? It's about enjoying the moment, having a good time. And so went ahead and had that happen yesterday. That was fantastic. I really, really, really enjoyed that. If you are stuck, COVID crisis, lockdown, quarantine, if you live in another part of the country and you don't have to go through this stuff, like if you live in South Dakota, North Dakota, something like that, cheers to you. But down here in Southern California, restaurants are closed, gyms are closed, places of worship are supposed to be closed. It's a little nuts, right? And so if you're in these quarantine, isolation type situations, I implore you to pick up the phone, text somebody, call somebody, and make an arrangement to go meet them somewhere and go hike or bicycle or go to a park or, go on a picnic, do something, right? Because I think the longer we lock ourselves up in a house and stare at Netflix, not only does that create like a downward spiral emotionally, I think it actually kind of dulls our senses. It just kind of makes you kind of, I don't know, and you got to get out and you got to embrace, you got to go with something, get some chutzpah, right? And so that was that. Now, Saturday, now this will sound like bragging, but it's not meant to be bragging. I went riding with a group that on Facebook, they're called The Cats I Roll With, right? So The Cats I Roll With is a group I met a couple of years ago. I talk them up whenever I can. They're a fantastic group of guys. And I say guys because I haven't ever seen any women come along on the ride, but it's not that they're not welcome. I'm sure women are welcome on the ride. Great guys. They pray before the ride, which I love, right? I don't think there's a time in life where I could use less prayer, right? So they pray before the ride. And we had a ride scheduled Saturday that left at 7 in the morning and was about 52 miles. And I had no idea where we were actually going to go. Like he put the directions in the post, right? But I'm looking at the post and I'm going, okay, I know how to get to the golf course, right? So I'm going to park at the golf course and we're going to go towards the beach. Okay, I know that. Cool. And then he said we're going to turn, something, and go back to the golf course. So I didn't really know where I was going, right? So we rode down to Seal Beach, and my buddy, still fresh, Ken Nagata. You know, I talk about him a lot, right? So my partner, Ken Nagata, who I bicycle with a lot, he's the guy that says "still fresh" on the Instagram videos, and that's become his nickname, right? Ken Still Fresh Nagata. So he was on the ride, and we ended up with 9 people in the group, which is tremendous, right? Because if you think about it, when you're going like this, right, you're drafting, right, and you take a lead for 2 miles, and then you go back to the end, right, and then you work your way back up, and then you take the lead for, and then you go back to the end. So with 9 people, you got 16 miles of drafting, right, before you have to worry about jumping back up and taking the lead again. So it makes it a lot easier. So maintaining, 18, 19 miles an hour is, for an average, is not that difficult when you have a group that big, unless the trail gets crowded, right? And I got to tell you, the trail was crowded. Now, some people that bicycle don't like this. Some people are saying, the newbies, someone needs to teach these people how to ride. They don't know what they're doing, and they get grumpy about it. I'm not grumpy about it. In fact, one of them knocked me off my bicycle at the end of the ride on Saturday. We were coming up around the hairpin, and he knew I was there because half my group had already gone around him, and I was going to go around him. And then he motioned that he was going to go to the outside of the turn, right? So he was going to go to the left. I said, okay, well, I'll just go behind him. And so I started to slow down, and I was going to go behind him, and he stopped. He just stopped dead, middle of the turn, middle of the trail, hit the brakes and stopped. And so I hit his back tire, off I went. I couldn't get my feet out of the pedals fast enough, right? Because I'm clipped in, and I just fell over, skinned my knee a little bit. Not a big deal. The bike's fine. Some people would be really, really angry about that. Some people would be furious, and I'm not. Here's why I'm not. Two-wheeled activities are growing at an incredible rate. You can't buy a bicycle in Southern California at a bike shop that's less than $5,000 right now. They're out of inventory, right? Head over to Target. The bikes are gone. Head over to Walmart. The bikes are gone. You got little tiny bikes for little tiny kids, and then you got junk that nobody wants, right? And all the stuff that is like desirable is gone. There are bike shops that are saying they might not have inventory until December or January for customers that want to buy product, right? Think about that. Here's what I don't understand. I already know that Suzuki's laid off a bunch of people. I know that Triumph has laid off a bunch of people, right? I know that Honda is laying off people or letting positions dissolve by attrition or retirement and not filling those positions. So I'm watching the motorcycle industry voluntarily shrink itself when sales are up. So the demand is up, but the distributors are shrinking, okay? The bicycle industry is doing the same thing. They are having an absolute incredible bubble of retail. The people that are running these dealers, need to, right? This is their opportunity to leverage margins and build business and build relationship. And then just like I say with power sports, somehow transition that relationship to a service relationship where they are there to help the customer and build a service business out of this, right? Parts and labor in bicycles is the same as parts and labor in power sports and marine. It's about building the relationship and meeting the people where they're at. Let me give you this example. And this came up in the meeting I was just in, so it's fresh on my mind. So I feel like I'm plagiarizing my last meeting, right? But it's my stuff. I'm on the ride, and about 35 miles into the ride out of 52 miles, one of the guys gets a flat. Okay, no big deal. Got a flat. Fix your flat. Have at it. We'll wait, right? Fix your flat. We'll wait. So fixing a flat at my level of riding, it's a normal thing, right? 5-6 minutes, tops. I'm going to pull the tube, throw another tube in, check the tire, make sure there's nothing in it, knock in the bead, pump it up, put it back on, we're out of here. um, people don't know what they don't know, right? So I'm not saying this guy's an idiot. He might be a brain surgeon for all I know, but he ain't a motorcycle repairman and he's not a bicycle repairman. 20 minutes later, he's still trying to figure out how to put the rear wheel back on because he's got the chain, both sides of the chain on one side of the gear set, if that makes sense. He didn't pull the derailleur back on the spring to load the wheel in, to catch the mounts, right, for the axle. So I go over, and I say, oh, no, the chain goes this way. Let's pull the derailleur back. That should pop right in for you now. It pops in. I go, okay, slide your axle and we're ready to go. Now, I didn't save the day. That made it sound like I saved the day. I didn't save the day. I'm sure he would have figured it out eventually, but we were already there like 20 minutes, right? This is why service centers at bicycle shops have a fantastic opportunity. Think about what I just described to you. Sales are up, right? The distributors are shrinking. This is true for marine, motorcycle, bicycle. Sales are up. The distributors are shrinking. What happens to the supply chain? The supply chain's broken, right? If the supply chain is broken, what are the retailers forced to do to make income? They are forced, people are going to get frustrated. They're going to start pulling motorcycles and bicycles and crap out of their sheds and backyards and everything. Hey, man, can you get this going for me? I just got to get my kid riding again. Hey, can you just give me a quick service on this? Now, that's when a service professional takes a look at it and goes, hey, let's do a needs assessment really quick. Let's do a quick walk around, see what we're working with here. Yeah, we can definitely take a look at this for you. However, it's not going to be like spritzing a little WD-40 on it and filling up the tires and kissing you goodbye, right? This one's going to need, it looks like it's probably going to need, a gear cable. This one might need a, new chain. This one might need a new wheel. This is when we need to do and build relationships and discuss things with people, give them their options, right? Say, hey, well, this is what I would recommend. This is what you need. And, or no, if you don't have the budget, we can't do it, right? But build that relationship. And unfortunately, let's just face facts. The people that work at the service level in all of these industries I've just mentioned, very few of them have any professional training in communication. So this giant opportunity, this huge retail bubble that we've created during the COVID crisis, this is a huge opportunity for people in these industries to build relationships and extend this and keep this going past the COVID crisis. And this is our chance. This is our opportunity to grab success. And unfortunately, the longer we hesitate to train people in the service centers to deal with this increased demand, the better our chances are of stealing defeat from the jaws of victory, right? And that was kind of a talk that we had just in the meeting prior to me doing this live with you guys. Anyway, you guys know my passion about this. You know how I feel about it. You know that I'm here to help. If you need to reach out, hit the contact link at the top of Mañana No Mas. Pop me a message. Let me know what you got going on. If you need training, if you own one of these shops and you're like, man, you know what you said makes sense. I should probably train my people. I've got a training academy that's full of content that people can take. I do live support calls. And then once you get your people, we all think that, our staff is here, right? And you want to get your staff from here to here so that you can increase parts and labor sales, right? But let's face facts. You think they're here, and in reality, they're probably down here with their skill and communication level. So I've built the online academy to build them up to get them where you think they already are. And once everybody's productive and efficient and parts and labor sales make sense, your good, your efficiency is good, well then, if you want to go to the next level, bring me in for a in-person consult and we can do a needs assessment and work with your people and get you where your goals really are. But, baby steps, right? How do you eat an elephant? One step at a time. And so I work my best to do the online training, make it affordable, get people in and work with them and get them to see the light at the end of the tunnel, get them to understand what goal building looks like, what a key performance indicator really is, how to track it and how to make decisions based on it, and how to build relationships with customers. If we can do all that and get that soup going, right, well, then we can get from here to here, right? And then eventually, if you want to optimize it and maximize things, well, then we can take a look at that next goal. But man, I tell you, it's only Monday. And it is a killer week already. I love when things start out positive, right? I had 75 miles on the bicycle this weekend. I felt great about. I had a great service at church. I hooked up with some really, really good friends, had some good conversations over the weekend. And then I had a couple mile walk with my daughter this morning. I had a great meeting at 9 o'clock. And now I'm talking to you guys. And today at 4 o'clock, here in California time, I am going to be recording another podcast. So the Mañana No Mas podcast is going to be bringing on a guy named Andrew Eggleton. I sure hope I say his name right during the podcast. Andrew Eggleton. And he is an expert. I mean, an expert. I'm not, this isn't like to puff him up. This dude is an international expert trainer on presentation style. The way that this guy communicates and the way that he gets buy-in from his audience, because I saw him do his thing live, and I was like, okay, he certainly doesn't communicate like me, right? So I almost want to say he's the antithesis of me. He doesn't communicate like me, but he sure resonates with the people that he is trying to address. And so he's always kind of jumped off the page at me, and this is my chance. I've got him on the podcast. I'm going to record that at 4 o'clock today. And then within the next couple of days, I'll have that up on the podcast, both video and audio. And I'm looking really forward to sharing that with you guys. So, man, it's these morning check-ins, besides being a way to communicate with you and keep you educated and value you, it's extremely therapeutic to myself, because it helps me to understand that during the COVID crisis, day to day, we might feel isolated. We might feel like we're not connected, right? But then when I do these every day and I go, this is what we're working on today, this is what we just did yesterday, this is what we're working on tomorrow, it makes me realize that there is progress, there is a direction, and man, it just feels great to have you guys along for the ride. Have yourselves a good one. I love you. Mañana no más. Let's get some stuff done. Bye-bye.